Hi, this is Master Bamboo. Today we're going to cover a FSP ITX case and ApexGaming AIO water cooler. The case is made by FSP, which is mainly known for their power supplies. This case grabbed my attention because of the component arrangement. Upon receiving the case, I discovered the design concept of the case is somewhat weird. For example, the power supply is mounted upside down, so it creates a conflict in airflow. Not to mention, the mounting point is riveted to the bottom, so it cannot be changed. And the filter is located on the top instead of bottom. The only accessories came with the case were 4 zip ties and couple screws. And it gets better. This is not an aluminum case as I thought. It's a steel case with paintings that's easily scratchable. The fans are mounted via a top mount. Taking off 4 screws will be able to access it, and in turn take out the weird filter. The ApexGaming water cooling kit, on the other hand, is more promising. The water block surface is made by copper, and the pump is integrated with the water block. The radiator, in the other hand, is aluminum, and it has a higher density than our copper counterparts. The water block has a blower fan mounted on top, so it helps the motherboard airflow a little bit. The radiator fan has a pretty good fan blade surface, and the space between the fan blade and the frame is quite small. Now starts with the assembly. Please be sure to use the screws that came with the all-in-one kit so it doesn't puncture the radiator. To install the radiator back in the case, I simply remove the filter that was in place originally, and then screw back in the 4 screws and you're ready to go. During the installation of the CPU and the RAM, just to be sure, don't drop anything onto the motherboard, otherwise it's very easy to damage the components. It is also advised to install the backplate while your motherboard is not in the case yet. The ApexGaming kit allows you to install the mounting kit without installing the actual water block. So the water block can be installed later during the installation of the motherboard into the case. Now be sure to peel off the protective film. Then your water block will go into the cage really easy. Because of the design of the case, the extension cable of the power supply is very hard to get in. So there are some struggles here to fit the power supply, but in the end, it got in. For some reason, the cables from the case was not long enough, so again, it was a real struggle trying to fit them in nicely. The installation of the dedicated GPU is somewhat easy. You may have to make some adjustment to the mounting point of the GPU that was right across the power supply. The PCIe extension cable was included, and the length of the cable was pretty good. During our test runs of the 3D Mark Time Spy and Firestrike, there is no indication of thermal throttling. Due to the case design, the CPU fans are also acting as the case fan, so the CPU temperature will be a little higher. But from all of our tests, the CPU temperature all falls within a pretty good spec. This particular 3070 has a pretty lazy fan, but the power itself within the VBIOS I believe is limited within the 210 to 220 watts range. Right after the Time Spy and Firestrike testing, we start Heaven's benchmark for 20 minutes. And again, the GPU frequency and the VRAM frequency are stable. The temperatures also get stable after the initial climb. And to emulate the real-world gaming, we started Dark Souls Remastered for 30 minutes, and the result yields about the same as from our benchmarks.